Nice, Chris. Hit hole in one.
Okay, here's the first session back. Let's see how this goes, guys. You'll notice that I'm sitting really deep, trying to create some hip depth here. I mean, just to make contact is a great accomplishment for me at this point. So I decided to move the camera so it would be more directly down the line at this point. Right here, what I'm working on doing is I want the club more out in front of me. I don't want it to get stuck behind me as it can do sometimes. Yeah, I can't get off of that right foot at all. So you guys have probably heard me talk about the push-pull, and here I'm demonstrating that I want to be balanced on my feet, and so with my hips back, you know, it allows me to have more forward bend at the hips. If my hips aren't back, then I can't bend over at the hips, or my weight will be way over my toes. I'm going to fall forward, so it's a counterbalancing move. And then here, what I'm kind of demonstrating is kind of like, I've called it the iron palm. It's kind of like through the impact, what is my right hand going to do? And I almost feel like it's a palm heel strike. I don't want to push on the handle too early, but as that left side clears and the left hand pulls up, you know, I want that bow in my left hand and the right hand is going to fire. You know, just like Ben Hogan said, he wants 3 right hands at impact, but you don't want 3 right hands too early. So just trying to get used again to using the handle properly in kind of a baseball fashion. Here I move the camera to the rear. I'm really swinging in a very stack and tilt kind of way here because I really can't load into my right side very much at all. So this is more of a pivot driven swing. Obviously my right foot is super duper weak, but you know, I'm just trying to work it all out. The only club I took to the driving range was my pitching wedge. So all of these shots are with my pitching wedge. Here once again, I'm working on kind of the classic or golden loop kind of move. I think my friend Billy Martin calls it the inside figure 8. So both of these shots were thin, and if we take a look at this, watch my head against the palm tree in the back, you'll see that I'm moving into my weak ankle. There's like nothing there. Both of these swings, I'm like kind of moving off the ball way too much, especially considering I have no power at all to press off of my right foot. And the result was both of these shots were very ugly, very thin. there I stayed much more on top of the ball. And here you'll see that I constantly have to remind myself to keep flexing my knees and keep hip depth. The most common thing that I see out of all the swing videos I've been sent, out of all the online lessons that I've done, the number one thing that I see is people standing too tall with no knee flex or hip depth. And that just starts a whole host of problems, because as you go to the ball, your weight goes forward, and then you have to early extend it so you don't fall over towards the ball.
All right, guys, so I have to say that I'm really encouraged that just this little session here I can hit the golf ball, but I'm going to use this session as a means to reset everything in my golf swing. I've got to change my grip, I've got to change my stance, I got to change my transition, and then I got to really just clean up my lower body work, and then hopefully that's going to get me where I want to go.
So I want to mention something here talking about my grip. Mr. Hogan talks about the two hands working as one unit, and I've been using the overlapping grip for many years now, but I'm considering experimenting with the interlocking grip. Because of Tiger's influence, many of the young golfers are using an interlocking grip on tour. I think Jordan Spieth, Hideki Matsuyama, and many other golfers. And I think it certainly helps the two hands work as one unit more. Obviously, Jack Nicklaus as well used the interlocking grip. But I think when I go out to the course the next time, I'm going to try that out. What the interlocking grip does is it helps me take the thumb and forefinger of my right hand to make them a little less dominant. I have a tendency, Ben Hogan called those two fingers the swing wreckers. So when I interlock, those two fingers are less active. Yeah, there was, I'm trying to do too much with my right foot here. And then it just gives out. And then look at my right foot slide back. I got nothing there. Now this swing here, I've got a lot more knee bend and hip depth. I like my address a little bit more than it has been normally. And I'm going to make a video pretty soon talking about Ben Hogan's knee bend. It's very commonly believed that Mr. Hogan straightened his right leg, and Greg McHatton, who's done the massive research on a 3D scale model of Ben Hogan, says that his right leg does straighten a bit. I think it straightens more with a driver than it does with his irons, but Jody Vasquez made it very clear to me that Ben Hogan wanted bend in his right leg. He did not want it to straighten out completely or get stiff or locked out. And when I make this next video, I think we're going to see that he actually did have some bend in his right knee, but because of the fact that he wore those pleated pants, I think it makes it a little bit more difficult to see. Yeah, so here I can't get through the ball. I can get down to the ball, but without any right foot, I can't really get through the impact very much at all. I wanted to mention that at this point my foot was feeling a little bit warm, and unfortunately when I woke up the next morning I could not walk. I had to go back to my crutches. It was really disheartening. Now the good news is the next day I was able to walk again. So I think that my foot was just like, this is the first time I'd put it through anything at all, and it just it's kind of the shock to the system. you know. But this looks like a pretty decent shot here. Just to hit something like this is encouraging, but it's mostly hand-eye coordination. There's not any power here. Now that's a good, nice little drill down shot. And that was pretty darn good. So that's a pretty promising first range session back after a ruptured Achilles. So this is a couple of shots from the scramble. Again, I can't walk around very much, so I wasn't running around like I normally do with the camera, but this is a little hybrid from about 175 or 180 yards. Now this shot is kind of funny. This is a 7-iron from 152 yards. I'm clubbing up and hitting essentially a 3/4 swing. That was right at the hole. It's funny, my brother-in-law thought it was had a shot at a hole-in-one, but I was amazed that I hit that ball probably about 160, 165 yards. It went over the green. Now I'm trying to swing a little bit too hard, like tried to go a little bit more than just a half or 3/4 swing, and my poor right foot is trying to, look at this walkthrough. I'm doing the Gary Player. That's very weak, but at any rate, guys, that's part 1 of the comeback, and I'm going to go out to the golf course today and try and hit some golf balls. Let's see if I can get any improvement. And I hope your games are great. So make sure you get out there and enjoy the rest of the summer and everything before it gets too cold. So hit them long and hit them straight.
Hey guys, so let's cut to the chase. Here's my old golf swing. And here's my new golf swing. Five years ago, I started a YouTube channel, and I wanted to improve my golf swing by using Ben Hogan's 5 lessons. Well, guess what? It worked. In this video, I break down everything that I learned over my long journey to learn to swing like Ben Hogan, and now you can learn the very same techniques that I used to become the golfer I always wanted to be. Now, this video offers tons of insights that I picked up along the way while I was digging it out of the dirt. But if you get this video, I am convinced it will help you get to where you want to be in a fraction of the time that it took me. I don't think I know a person alive that doesn't wish they had a better golf swing. I used to be a hacker, and then the next thing you know, I can shoot under par, and I'm sponsored by the Ben Hogan Golf Equipment Company. Can you believe it? It's unreal, right? But it's true, it really happened. I did it, and you can too. So go to myswingevolution.com, where you're going to find a completely revamped website with a social media platform where you can make your own profile and talk with other people on Team MSC about how you can take your game to the next level. Don't hesitate. Go to myswingevolution.com today. And remember, hit 'em long and hit 'em straight.